Are you actually cut out to raise meat rabbit? Most people think the hard part is processing, which it is, but there's a lot more that you have to be willing to do. If you're not consistent daily, your rabbit supply won't be either. These are the things that I have to do even when it's freezing cold outside. Today we're going to be checking 3 nesting boxes and seeing if all the babies are still doing okay. In the wintertime, if you're not careful, it is really easy to lose kits, especially when they're first born. Then we're going to be breeding 2 more does, because if you don't keep spacing out your breeding and making sure you have more babies coming after this first batch, then you will run out of meat. So the first thing we're going to do is check on this mama's kits, and she's actually a biter, so I have to be really careful. But she's actually just being a good mom, but I don't want to get bit. Okay, so we have the kits out here, and we're just going to very carefully pull back the fur and just check on these little nuggets in here. It looks like everybody is doing really well, all nice and cozy and warm in there. You just want to check and make sure that there's not one that didn't make it and is like going bad in there. So this is our second mama, and she only had 4 babies and one of them did not make it. So now we're going to check on hers. And there can be different reasons for why she had such a small litter, but we're just going to keep an eye on her. But looks like everybody's doing well in there, nice and warm. And so this is our last doe to check and make sure that her kits are doing okay, especially because it is in the negative temperatures here today with the wind chill. And so this mama, she had 8 babies, but it was pretty scary because she had all of her kits right here at the edge of the nest, and she barely pulled any fur. So by the time I found them, they were super chilled and I wasn't sure they were gonna make it. I ran inside and I trimmed some actual fur off of our dog. He's a Newfoundland mixed with a poodle, and so I came and made a really nice nest for the kids, put them in there. They warmed up, and that was like a week ago. They're still doing okay. So now let's just check and make sure that they are all still doing good in here. We have black and white ones. We bred this mama with a silver fox and a New Zealand, and so it looks like everybody's doing really good in there. You can see it's so cold, even our heated water bowls are having a hard time keeping up. So checking your rabbits' water when it's really cold is super important because they will get so thirsty. We also have this heated plate for our big chicken water for the rabbits that are here on the ground, and it works really well. You can see that it's not even frozen. If it gets too cold, it will get icy around the edges. But both of these heaters or heated water bowls are linked in my bio. They really do help so much. And right now I'm just taking out some hot water to unthaw some of the frozen waters. These are the days that can be hard to be consistent, but it's really important that you are. So now we're going to talk about breeding rabbits, which is something that I've been putting off for a few days, and I need to get them bred because if I don't keep everybody hold on, this rabbit's gonna escape. Make sure you shut the door on your rabbit barn. You do not want to be chasing rabbits in the middle of winter outside. But where was I? If you don't keep your rabbits bred, you won't have enough meat because we have some growing out on the rabbit tractor now. We have some that just had kits. Now we need to breed the next 2 so that they're pregnant, and in a month they'll have more babies and we'll have meat to process a month after we process the ones on the rabbit tractor. Does that make sense? I don't know. Something you always want to make sure you're doing is writing down the date that you bred your rabbit, to what buck, and how many fall-offs they had, because you don't want to not know their due date and then surprise they have babies and you didn't put a nesting box in there, or they're out in the cold wire. So it's really important that we mark when we breed our rabbits. So it's actually not hard to breed your rabbits. It usually happens pretty fast, but sometimes you can have some problems. We like to breed ours in a neutral space, and I'll show you that. And so we're just going to take this mama out with the buck. We have this little caged in areas where we put them to be in a neutral space. They tend to do better when they're not in the buck's cage, but in a neutral space. So I'm gonna go ahead and put her in here, and then I'll get the buck. So this is our silver fox buck, and so I'm just going to go ahead and put him down in there and let them do their, ooh, she's a little feisty. Hopefully they do their thing here soon, and we want to have 2 to 3 good fall offs. And that's, you're not doing your thing, dude. Wrong position. So that was a good fall off there. And so we want to make sure that he has 2 of those at least, if not 3. And then there was the second one. I'm usually pretty happy with 2 good fall offs. It usually does the trick. But if you want to be extra safe, you could try again tomorrow to get a 3rd one. But if she doesn't get pregnant, we have wasted an entire month, because we won't know until basically she has the babies or doesn't have the babies. So then you have to wait another month before she kindles, which kind of stinks. Now I have our New Zealand buck. I'm gonna put him down in here. And this is our second doe we're breeding today. And so we are gonna wait and see if he can have a couple good fall offs as well. So the other doe was not in the mood today, was feeling feisty, and the buck just wasn't feeling her either, so we switched her out for another one that needs bred, and sometimes it just goes that way. And so now we're starting the chasing, and sometimes it goes this way, and come on. It doesn't look like he's got the right position. Of course, the rabbits decide to be difficult today while my hands are freezing off. And he got it. Yay. And maybe one. Yay, we got 2. Actually ended up getting 3 fall offs from our New Zealand, so that's even better. Sometimes you just have to give them time to warm up. And if it's not going well and the doe is too aggressive, you just try again the next day. They're definitely one of the easiest, most sustainable animals you can raise for meat, but you do have to be consistent and you have to stay on top of it if you want it to be an actual really good source of meat for you. So hopefully all of our kits make it through this cold weather, and also hopefully our 2 does got pregnant. So in a month from now, we'll be having more kits. Let me know what questions you have about raising your own meat rabbits. If you would like to know how to process your own meat rabbits, we have a full processing video start to finish linked in my bio, as well as our top 10 meat rabbit recipes. And also we just added our building plans for our rabbit barn if you're interested in those. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.